Hey, what's up? You feel like reading a book? Well, then let's keep reading The Metamorphosis, where I do the legwork for you, defining words, helping with grammar, so you can just enjoy the book. I'm able to make these videos thanks to the help from my patrons. Become a patron support for your English, and you will also get the review video that comes after this one, as well as the new extra vocab video, talking about some expressions that became popular in the 90s and that you still hear a little bit today. Besides that, just make sure to click the 3 dots down there to read with me. Gregor just had a big rambling, ranting speech. Let's see how everybody responds to it. And while Gregor gushed out these words, hardly knowing what he was saying, he made his way over to the chest of drawers. This was done easily, probably because of the practice he had already had in bed, where he now tried to get himself upright. He really did want to let them see him and to speak with the chief clerk. The others were being so insistent, and he was curious to learn what they would say when they caught sight of him. If they were shocked, then it would no longer be Gregor's responsibility and he could rest. If, however, they took everything calmly, he would still have no reason to be upright. And if he hurried, he really could be at the station for 8 o'clock. The first few times he tried to climb up on the smooth chest of drawers, he just slid down again. But he finally gave himself one last swing and stood there, upright. The lower part of his body was in serious pain, but he no longer gave any attention to it. Now he let himself fall against the back of a nearby chair and held tightly to the edges of it with his little legs. By now, he had also calmed down and kept quiet so that he could listen to what the chief clerk was saying. Good for Gregor, he's finally got a plan of action. We'll see exactly what his plan is in a little bit. Gregor says that he gushed out those words. If you are gushing words or emotion, it means you are expressing or saying a lot. To gush emotion means to be very expressive, and to gush out words means to say a lot of words. If you are upright, you are straight. You can sit upright, it means in a proper position, and you can stand upright. The opposite would be to slouch. If you are insistent, you are very demanding and persistent, which everybody is. They're very insistent that Gregor open that damn door. To catch sight of someone or something just means to see something. A similar expression means to glimpse something, but this is for a very short duration. A glimpse is a quick look. A chest of drawers basically means a dresser, something like this. That's a dresser where you put clothes and maybe some little knickknacks. Back of a chair or a back of a couch or anything that you can sit on is where your back sits against. So if this chair had a higher back, it would be right here, and that's the back of a chair. Did you understand a word of all that? The chief clerk asked his parents. Surely he's not trying to make fools of us. Oh God, called his mother, who was already in tears. He could be seriously ill, and we're making him suffer. Greta! Greta! She then cried. Mother? His sister called from the other side. They communicated across Gregor's room. You'll have to go for the doctor straight away. Gregor is ill. Quick, get the doctor. Did you hear the way Gregor spoke just now? That was the voice of an animal, said the chief clerk with a calmness that was in contrast with his mother's screams. Anna! Anna! His father called into the kitchen, through the entrance hall, clapping his hands. Get a locksmith here, now! And the two girls, their skirts swishing, immediately ran out through the hall, wrenching open the front door of the flat as they went. How had his sister managed to get dressed so quickly? There was no sound of the door banging shut again. They must have left it open. People often do in homes where something awful has happened. Sounds like the family thinks Gregor might be sick, which, yeah, he's more than sick. He's a giant bug. Alright, to make a fool of someone means to embarrass someone, to really embarrass them. So the chief clerk thinks that Gregor is just making fun of them. He's not seriously ill. To do something straight away means to do something right away, immediately. Pronto. A locksmith is someone who makes and repairs and can open locks. If something swishes, it's like blowing in the wind. So their dresses were blowing because they're running very fast. To wrench something open means to open abruptly, very quickly. Alright, last part. Gregor, in contrast, had become much calmer, so they couldn't understand his words anymore, although they seemed clear enough to him, clearer than before. Perhaps his ears had become used to the sound. They had realized, though, that there was something wrong with him, and were ready to help. The first response to his situation had been confident and wise, and that made him feel better. He felt that he had been drawn back in among people, and from the doctor and the locksmith he expected great and surprising achievements. although he did not really distinguish one from the other. Whatever was said next would be crucial, so in order to make his voice as clear as possible, he coughed a little, but taking care to do this not too loudly, as even this might well sound different from the way that a human coughs, and he was no longer sure he could judge this for himself. Meanwhile, it had become very quiet in the next room. Perhaps his parents were sat at the table whispering with the chief clerk, or perhaps they were all pressed against the door and listening. Just a couple words here. To be drawn back into something means to return to something. It could be to start doing something again, or to have a regained interest in something. So Gregor feels like he's among people again. He's been drawn back. He's returned. To distinguish one thing from another means to know the difference, to be able to tell something apart. And finally, if something is crucial, it is very important. And for Gregor, it's very crucial not to make any surprising noises. So everybody's trying to do something right now. What do you think? Should Gregor be so optimistic? Maybe the locksmith and the doctor can do something to help him. If you want to continue practicing, remember you can listen to the podcast. You can also get free audiobooks, some actual books to read, magazines, or whatever else you need. All of those links are under the video in the description. Don't start turning into a bug, because I'm going to see you next video, right? All right. Buggy, Gregor. Buggy, buggy.